It's time for Damn, I Wish I'd Planted That. There's the part of the show where we talk about a plant that's doing something really fantastic right now in your zone 6 to 7 gardens, Eastern temperate forest, caveat, caveat, caveat. But it might be actually doing something in your garden a little bit ahead of time or a little bit behind our time. But this is the sort of plant you think, oh, damn, I wish I planted that. And we've either growing them or have grown them or wish to grow them. What's yours, Les?
It's a good one. It's called Alchemilla mollis. Most people know it as lady's mantle. And it got that name apparently because from various sources, not just the one chat, um, it has this really cool gray-green leaf, which is a little bit furry. And that would make it so that somebody thought that it looks like a lady's cloak. To me, the furriness of the leaf, and this is a round leaf that's sort of serrated at the edges. It can be about 3 to 4 inches across. A short plant, can grow in full sun, can take some shade, but the leaf has just enough little hairs on it that you don't even really notice until you're like, wait a minute, what's happening here? We have a dew or we have a rain, and I'm looking at diamonds, like shine bright like a diamond on the leaf of the plant. It just has
Is
always
that a
caught my
pop
attention.
reference?
Yeah, that is, and you don't know it, so shine bright like a diamond. Um, this is zones 3 through 8. And it grows sort of in the habit of a heuchera. It's very easily divided. And if you were to divide it, you'd pull it out and you'd say, oh yeah, I see how you want to be this clump and you two other guys want to be this clump. Just pull it apart. It also self-sows for me. Interesting history with this. Well, interesting to me. Um, history with
Hold on, let
this
me get
plant.
that book. Hold on, wait just a second. Okay, there we go.
just just take a little nap and I'll wake you up when I am done. I liked it so well up in Connecticut that it lined my little herb parterre, and it was fabulous. And it's self-sowed, and it just looks so neat and lovely. I had such success with this plant up in Connecticut. And then I'm like, okay, this is one of my favorite plants. We're growing this in Virginia, and it just, busy doing stuff, moving down, running my business. I'm like, I guess we don't grow this plant, Alchemilla mollis, in Virginia, because every time I tried, it sort of melted away. And now I'm trying it again new in the bowling alley, and I am having some success, although I think it's just new to me here last spring. And I wondered, because we're not too far apart, Marianne's farther north than I am, and she's not in
Mhm.
this bowl of humidity. She's in a slight bowl. I'm in a deep bowl of humidity down in Charlottesville. What's your experience with this plant?
It's very similar to yours. I am growing it right now, but one plant that has managed to make it through the last 2 winters. And a friend of mine up in Hagerstown, who is another hour north of me, growing it on the north side of her house, and it was taking over. It was everywhere,
It can
or
get a
sort of
little weedy.
northeast, yeah, northeast side of her house. So I thought, oh, okay, well, I'm in on that. But did not have it established well. This plant is one of two that I bought to try again. And I noticed yesterday I was weeding around it and it's there. It's right by Leslie's golden hellebore, actually.
Yay. What a good combination.
And
Mine is right
yeah.
by Leslie's golden hellebore too. They're like a foot
Oh,
away from each
very
other.
interesting.
Isn't that
We're
funny?
sort of together a
I
little bit.
know. Oh,
But I think that this is a little bit of a heat issue, I think, for this
yeah,
plant.
I
I
think
think that
so.
it's a little bit of a fading flower. Now, why do you pick it for right now? Tell me.
Oh, because it's going to flower when this drops, and the flower is good. The foliage is great all year long, and I love that foliage, the way it holds the moisture um, physically to make this drop that you're like, oh, this is
Little
magical.
pearl.
Yeah, it's a
Mhm.
pearl or a diamond. It's a jewel.
I can
And
only afford pearls.
the flower itself is this tall, frothy picture another out of this foot tall plant or 10-inch tall plant, another 10 inches coming out on this
Yeah.
wand of chartreuse flowers, very frothy, wonderful cut flower, and it does self-sow. So that's about when it's flowering for me here when this one drops, but it does kind of look good all year.
If this one does not do well for me this next year, I'm ripping it out. I'm done with the okay,
But it's
yeah, I'm done with the experiment. I because when you know how a plant should look and how well and how healthy it should be, if you're not being able to give it that location, that those well, for whatever reason, I feel like, why are you growing it? Life's so
Yeah.
short. Life's so short. So, this one should be a weedy monster. But then everybody should be able to grow poppies. It just depends on your situation. I suppose I could throw it in a deeper shade area, but then it's not going to bloom, is it? Really?
That's true. So it depends on how much you love the foliage, which is pretty
Yeah, yeah,
good, but not
yeah,
spectacular. So, all right,
yeah.
what's yours?
Okay. Mine is a very interesting one that is plants without press, as well as a dam. I wish I planted that. And that is a Euphorbia wallichii, which is Wallich's spurge. So you might as well just learn wallichii. I mean, you're halfway there anyway. I have so much trouble growing Euphorbia well where I am. And I love Euphorbia. And there are, I think, almost 2,000 species in the genus Euphorbia. Do you grow any Euphorbia at all?
The
I ha
Ascot rainbow. The
Okay,
Ascot rainbow
Ascot
is
rainbow.
4-season plant for me. Love it.
So that's right on the edge for me. Some winters it'll make it through, some it won't. The one that I really want is the Wolfenii, the Caracas Wolfenii. But anything that has an above ground stem over the winter just looks like hell. And even
Yeah.
the bracts when it's flowering later, it's just not good. So I've got to go for the ones that are more herbaceous. Well, they're all herbaceous, but the ones that are sort of going down to the ground and coming back up and doing something with it. And figuring out what those are for my climate is tough. Euphorbia wallichii was given to me by a friend of mine who handed it to me. She, a fabulous gardener, and she said, "You're gonna regret this," because 'cause I'd seen it in her garden, and I was like, "What is that Euphorbia? That's what I want." Polychroma had been like, fine, but a little bit too tender, and Graffiti, forget about it, and I tried Tasmanian tiger, just all these different,
Ooh,
and there's this
blackbird is one of my favorites too. Have you ever done that one?
Yeah, but that lasted a couple years and then it was done. And even
Okay.
Amygaloides, Robii, the woodland spurge, I've had difficulty getting that established in this garden, not in my other garden. So I just wanted some euphorbia, damn it. So I see this beautiful, beautiful yellow bracts on the end of this sort of mounding plant that feels sort of like gravel garden-esque, that kind of, ooh, other places where I'm sipping prosecco, and there's this ruin in front of me, and I may toddle down to the ocean later for a quick swim. Anyway, the
Come back
euphorbia,
to
back
us.
to the euphorbia. And so I took it. She said, "You're gonna regret it. It proceeds to hell and back." And I said, "Yeah, I'm seeing it in your garden. It looks amazing." So I may, but who knows? Well, I've been growing it now for 4 years, and yes, it seeds, but they're easily pulled up. And where it seeds itself are places that I have a hard time growing things. It seeds
Oh,
itself into the gravel. It seeds itself in places I want something and adds extra color. So it's one to look out for. Euphorbia wallichii. I say this knowing that it's hard to get hold of. It's one that you're going to want to just,
not if you know Marianne.
not if you know me, you'll be able to get it. But if you are part of like a plant swap, or you're part of a group, and this is one of the best reasons for being part of some sort of plant society, or like a NARGS, a North American Rock Gardening Society, where you can do the seed exchange because you can grow this from seed pretty easily. Obviously, it's all over my garden. Then you have a chance to get these plants that are, may not be in commerce, may not be actually in commerce. So
All right,
anyway,
so I need foliage color and flower color, which you may have said, but I might have been dreaming. I don't know.
foliage color is a light green, and I know you were going to take me up on calling things silvery. It's not silvery. It's a very light green.
Are you talking about the
Um,
geranium tuberosum by any
I
chance?
am, that you
Yeah.
queried me
Yeah,
on
I'm
it
like,
being
really? Are
silver.
you seeing silver? And should you get your eyes checked? Because that looks green to me. But anyway, go ahead.
So it's a light green, and then the way that euphorbia blossoms, I think any euphorbia, because it's the point of it being in the genus, is it has tiny, tiny little flowers. They're usually yellow, usually, not always, sometimes orange. And then it has bracts. that are yellow around those flowers, and that's what you're really seeing, that your eye is being drawn to,
Mhm.
however it's doing it. And so it does that, and it's just a perfect size. It's about 2 feet tall, and will get to be about 2 feet wide in this perfect thing. And then it does that all through the summer. I mean, because they're bracts, just like with hellebores, how you have those sepals, you end up with a flower, quote unquote, that lasts
Yeah.
for a long time. And so it looks fabulous with fennel, which is also self-seeding. And I'm starting to get this gravel garden vibe, without actually doing any work. And I'm like,
Ooh.
yeah.
You and Beth Shadow.